his fifth Games. Well, now, Pedal for Paris, a BBC Sport project raising awareness of sustainability issues, has arrived in the French capital after 8 days and 550 miles of cycling from Manchester. The event is also supported by Sport England, whose chairman is Olympic cycling champion Chris Boardman.
The trip was absolutely fantastic. We started in Manchester in absolutely torrential, near biblical rain, going over the Peak District, 5,000 feet of climbing. We've had intense heat in the middle, above the averages for the time of year, and now we've ended up in Paris.
We seem to have been having, don't we, a pothole epidemic here in the UK. What are those French roads like?
Well, it's funny, we went out of Newhaven and we've been pointing out hole as we're riding along for the riders behind us, and we realised that we didn't say hole for 80 kilometres. In fact, wow. Since between Dieppe and here, probably 5 times we've had to say that.
Pedal for Paris has a sustainability message, but how can you make it really cut through?
Well, I think the point of this journey wasn't just to raise awareness of climate change and its impact on sport. It was actually to stop off at places that are doing something about it. So Halton Tennis Club, we stopped at. There'll be zero carbon by 2029. We stopped on the top of the peaks with the British Mountaineering Council, who are planting moss, an incredibly effective programme that's stopped erosion and is helping prevent flooding. Lewes Football Club, I think, was the last one we stopped at, who was serving vegan food to the fans. And I was so impressed with them, I actually bought a share in the club on the way through. So I am now the owner of 1 share of Lewes Football Club.
Yes, the famous dripping pan in Lewes, I know it well. To Paris, though, now, and the IOC president, Thomas Bach, says his organisation has planned the greenest Olympics so far. What evidence are you expecting to see, or maybe even have already seen of this?
Well, Anne Hidalgo, the mayor of Paris, started this in earnest in 2019. We know that she spent 1.4 billion to clean up the Seine, and it's still touch and go whether the triathlon will take place. It'll be weather dependent. But she's made great strides to pedestrianise big areas of Paris and is moving ahead at pace with that. And there's now more bike trips in Paris than there are car trips.
But in the bigger picture, Chris, it's a bit difficult to claim sustainability when there are countless air miles travelled by competitors and spectators from all over the world.
Yes, there are, and these are the juxtapositions that we've got to address. When somebody does something and they do something meaningful, like has happened in Paris, I think what we need to do, rather than go, yes, but look what you're not doing, is to go, and what do we need to do next? And go forwards rather than discourage people from even trying.
IOC President Thomas Bach has a kind of balancing act, I suppose, to perform, doesn't he? Reducing the carbon footprint, yes, but also, he says, bringing the world together with all these air miles in peaceful competition. That's a really big ask, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're not going to be able to square that circle without having to give something up. I think the key component for me is meaningful timeframes. So not 2050s where right now they can't feel the difference. There doesn't feel that urgency. But like the small Halton Tennis Club that I mentioned before, they've gone, right, we're going to be carbon neutral by 2029. So something that is doable, but it's a little bit scary. And I think bringing in those transition periods of a meaningful time frame is what will make the difference and make it believable as well.
Olympic cycling champion and Sport England chairman Chris Boardman.
Thank you, Rob. Michael Burke is here now to tell us about this evening's Moral Maze. Morning, Michael.
Morning, Justin. The Olympics, which open in Paris on Friday, were reinvented as a moral ideal, a contest of strength, speed, skill, for honour, not money, that would sanitise, even ennoble hostility between nations. The reality is not always lived up to it. Early marathon runners, fuelled on rat poison, hitched lifts. National prestige has demanded huge sums spent to stage the games and ruthless pressure to win them. No wonder Orwell called them war without the shooting. The Olympic Games, nice idea, but do they do more harm than good? The Moral Maze after the news at 8 tonight.
Yes, interesting thoughts. Looking forward to that. And it's 29 minutes to 8. Let's have a look at the weather. Today we'll see variable cloud and sunny spells to start, with a few showers in the east.
You're listening to Today on Radio 4 them, about to Today on Radio 4 them, about to Today on Radio 4 them, about to Today.